श्रीमते रामानुजाय नमः। श्रीमते निगमान्तमहादेशिकाय नमः। श्रीमते आदिपञ्चडगोपयतीन्द्रमहादेशिकाय नमः। अस्मिन्नप्ने शुभानो प्रविशति तपने कुम्भराशिं वलक्षे पक्षे सप्तं युपते प्रकृतिन सगिते कृत्तिका तारयन्ते वेझे बाधूलवंशयो महितगुणयुतः श्रीसौम्यनारायणः श्रीगोष्ठीनाददामशितिमकुटगुरुत्तं स योगीन्द्रदृष्ट्या स्वभान्वब्दे कुम्भशुक्लसप्तम्यां भृगुवासरे सौम्यनारायणः प्रापवादूलस्वगुरोपदौ. Hi kids, today let me narrate a very interesting background story on why Garuda has to come and relieve Sri Rama and Lakshmana from Nagapasa. Few millennia before Sri Rama avatar, Matali, the charioteer of Lord Indra, was in a fix. His daughter Gunakeshi had reached marriageable age and he could not find a good match for her. Matali rejected all the men he had seen. Matali was wondering what to do when he heard a mischievous voice behind him. Narayana, 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 Narayana. Matali turned and saw Sage Narada standing behind him. Matali smiled at Sage Narada and bowed to him. Sage Narada has travelled all over the three worlds. He would definitely be of great help to him. Sage Narada, I need your help, he said after Sage Narada blessed him. Sage Narada laughed. Well, that is what I do all the time. I help people, but I don't understand what the greatest charioteer in the world could want. Matali looked modest as Sage Narada continued. You are Indra's personal charioteer. I have heard that the way you deal with the horses is so magnificent that when you ride the chariot, it looks like as if the horses respond to your thought. Indra keeps talking on. Indra keeps talking on and on about how will you deal with the horses and how will you advise him during the times of war. Matali very pleased and told, but Sage Narada, that is not what I want help from you. It is a problem in my home. Sage Narada looked amused. That is impossible. You have the most talented and skillful Gunakeshi as your daughter. What problems could you have? Matali smiled. My daughter is of marriageable age now. She has asked me to choose a suitable man for her. Matali said, and I cannot find anyone who is good enough for her. I just don't think I will ever find anyone. Sage Narada laughed. You are not able to find anyone in the heavens worthy for your daughter? Matali said, you have seen the Patala and all the other underground worlds too. I just want to know whether you have seen anybody there who is. Sage Narada looked at Matali with a mischievous eyes. Now that you have asked me, I can think of someone who would be a good match for your daughter. Matali's eyes lit up with excitement. Who is it? Please tell me who it is. Sage Narada replied, I won't tell you. Matali looked surprised as Sage Narada continued, I will show you. Both Matali and Narada left for the underground world. In the underground world, Matali and Narada went to Patala Loka, the lowest level of the underground world. There, Matali saw many wondrous things and sights and was thrilled by them. He saw a noble looking Naga. As Narada came forward, the man bowed to Sage Narada. He welcomed the two of them heartily, but somehow Matali noticed that he was depressed. Matali wondered why. Sage Narada was speaking. Aryaka, meet Matali. The Naga's eyes grew round with astonishment. Matali? The charioteer of Lord Indra? He asked, studying Matali again. Sage Narada happily nodded his head as Matali looked modest. Aryaka welcomed the two of them very happily and gave them a very good lunch. After they finished eating, Aryaka called his grandson, Sumuka, Sumuka. A good-looking, noble young man walked into the room. As Madali saw the man, he felt that this was the answer to all his prayers. Just looking at Sumuka, the way he carried himself, the respect with which he treated his grandfather, the love and the patience in his eyes, Madali knew that he had found the perfect match for his daughter. With great joy, he spoke for the first time to Aryaka and Sumuka. I have come here to ask something to the two of you. Sage Narada remained silent, allowing Matali and Aryaka to speak. Sumuka stood back, watching the two of them. I have a daughter, Gunakesi. She is beautiful and extremely talented, Matali said hesitatingly. Sage Narada spoke up. Oh, there is no doubt about it. You will not find a more talented girl both in heavens and the earth or anywhere underground. And Sage Narada said, looking at Sumuka, she is extremely beautiful. Sumuka blushed but did not say anything. Matali continued, I was wondering whether you would be interested in getting your grandson Sumuka married to my daughter, he asked, looking at the two of them. Sumuka and Aryaka looked at each other. Matali saw an expression which he had never expected to see, despair. Matali was stumped. Why would the two of them look so unhappily at each other? He looked blankly at Sage Narada, who was also looking at him as if he did not understand what was going on. He then turned to Aryaka. Why? Is there a problem? Aryaka gave a dry laugh. Problem? You have just offered the most perfect woman to be the wife of my grandson, and I am not in a position to accept it. Yes, you could say I have a problem. Matali looked uncomprehendingly as Aryaka continued. Have you wondered why I am introducing my grandson to you? Logically, you should be talking about all this with my son. Sumuka's father and not me in this space. Matali nodded his head but did not say anything. Aryaka continued, the reason Sumuka's father Shiraka is not here and the reason why Sumuka cannot marry you is Garuda. Matali was flabbergasted. Garuda? You mean the vehicle of Lord Vishnu, the Garuda? Aryaka shuddered as Matali said the name of Garuda. He glanced around with fear, almost as if expecting Garuda to suddenly appear from somewhere. Sumuka also looked a little lost as he heard his grandfather. Please, we do not speak his name here. Aryaka breathed out slowly. Matali sat back and listened as Aryaka continued. Garuda stole the part of Amrita from the Devas to give it to the Nagas, as Aryaka said, pointing at himself, in return for freedom for himself and his mother Vinata. Matali nodded. He knew that story well. That's a separate story by itself why Garuda had to regain their freedom. Garuda single-handedly thrashed the Devas when he had come looking for the Amrita part. Indra had guarded the part with all the defenses at his disposal. Indra could have left it just like that for all the effect it had. Garuda came like a storm and blew away all the Devas with his onslaught. Not even a single Deva could stand up against Garuda. Even Indra's Vajrayuda was useless before Garuda. Matali remembered Riley. The only way Indra could make sure the Nagas could not get Amrita was to make a deal with Garuda. After handing over the Amrita to the Nagas, both Garuda and Vinata had become free. Then the Nagas had gone to take bath before taking the Amrita. Indra had stolen the Amrita at that time. Aryaka was saying something. Matali shook his head, trying to pay attention to what Aryaka was saying. After that incident, Garuda became a sworn enemy of all the snakes. Even Indra had promised all the Nagas as a natural food for Garuda. Aryaka winced as he thought back. Garuda came here and wreaked havoc on all of us. We could not stop him at all. Nothing we did seemed to work against him. We did the only thing we could do, Aryaka said, feeling a little dejected. We promised to send him a Naga a month, and in return, Garuda was not to attack us indiscriminately. Aryaka was unhappy with himself, but Matali understood. As a king, Aryaka felt like he had failed his people. But Matali also knew what happened when Garuda attacked. There was precious little that could be done when that happened. Aryaka looked unhappy at Sumuka. Last month, my son Chiraka, Sumuka's father, was sent to Garuda. This month, Sumuka has to be sent. Aryaka trembled as he looked at his grandson, who was trying his best to look brave. Sumuka placed a hand on his grandfather's shoulder to control Aryaka's trembling. Aryaka pulled himself together and looked helplessly at Matali. There is nothing I can do, Aryaka said, shrugging. Matali looked at the two of them. Now, more than ever, he was confident that Sumuka was the right choice for his daughter. He smiled as he saw Aryaka and Sumuka. There is nothing you can do, but there is something I can. When Matali entered Indra's court at Amaravati, he knew it was a good omen. He felt that it was destined that the marriage between Sumuka and Gunakeshi was to take place. Sitting in Indra's court was the supreme god Sriman Narayana. Bowing first to Mahavishnu, who smiled at him enigmatically, Matali bowed to Lord Indra with Sumuka trailing behind him. Lord Indra, he said. He looked at Indra. Indra nodded to him. Indra studied Sumuka and then back at Matali with a puzzled look. Matali, why have you brought Sumuka here? Sumuka looked a little fidgety and uncomfortable. Matali then looked at Indra. My lord, I have a favor to ask from you. Indra was feeling very happy. For years, Matali had been his charioteer and he had been the best. There was no one who could come close to him. Indra had won so many wars, and he could safely say that Matali was one of the important reasons he had won his wars. Now Indra felt happy that he could repay Matali's service to him. Indra said, anything for you. Matali smiled and continued, Lord, as you know, I was searching for a good match for my daughter Gunakeshi. Indra nodded. Matali said, I have finally found the perfect match for her. I think Sumuka here is the most perfect man for her. Indra vigorously nodded his head. He was feeling very happy for his charioteer. But before he could talk, Matali interrupted him. Your Majesty, however, I have a problem. Garuda. Indra blinked. Garuda? Indra was suddenly feeling nervous. He had a faint suspicion of why Matali had brought Sumuka here. Indra cleared his throat and looked to Mahavishnu for support. He then said, Go ahead, Matali. Indra felt his voice going hoarse. Matali said, Lord, the Nagas have been offering one Naga a month to Garuda to buy peace from him. Last month it was Chiraka, Sumuka's father's turn. Next month it is Sumuka's turn. Matali said flatly. Indra found his suspicions coming out right and felt that he was having difficulty talking. He said, So, what do you want? Matali was aware that his king was distinctly uneasy, but he was determined. He continued, I was wondering whether you would offer Amrita to Sumuka so that he would become immortal. Indra looked at Matali deflated. He knew that this was what Matali was going to ask, but how could he? Indra had no objections to handing over Amrita to Sumuka. Sumuka looked like a fine young man, and giving him Amrita was not wrong. It was the repercussions which bothered Indra. If he handed over Amrita to Sumuka, Garuda could take offense to it. He may think that Indra was purposely giving Amrita to someone whom Garuda had marked to humiliate him. Indra realized that once offended Garuda was not someone he would fight with ever. Indra shuddered as he remembered the last time Garuda had attacked the Devas. There was nothing left from the attack. Garuda had just blown everything off. He turned desperately to Mahavishnu. Narayana, please tell me what to do. Mahavishnu smiled. You are the king of the Devas, Indra. I should not make choices for you. You will have to decide whether or not to give Amrita to Sumuka. Indra knew that he could not escape this by asking Mahavishnu to choose for him. Indra pursed his lips as Mahavishnu continued. I personally think that Sumuka is a good man and he would be a good person to marry Gunakeshi. Indra nodded to himself and thought for some time. He finally looked at Sumuka. I will give you the Amrita, Sumuka, and I will face the consequences which follow. He thought to himself, but he did not say anything. Lord Vishnu smiled at him, but did not say anything. Sumuka and Matali looked visibly relieved. Indra came forward and was about to hand over the Amrita to Sumuka when suddenly the court door flew open. Indra had the fright of his life when he saw a ferocious looking Garuda staring angrily at him. Indra opened his mouth to talk when Garuda started yelling, Indra, what are you doing? Garuda shouted, and Indra almost felt that the whole of the heavens was vibrating. Indra shook himself up. He could not look weak before Garuda. He was, after all, the king of Devas. He looked at Garuda and said heartily, I am giving Sumuka some Amrita. Indra was about to say something when Garuda started talking arrogantly. You are giving Sumuka Amrita? You know that I am going to kill him in a month, and yet to insult me you are giving him Amrita? Indra shook his head. I am giving him Amrita because... Garuda shouted again. Have you forgotten the last time we met in battle, Indra? Do you want a repeat of that? Sumuka got afraid and requested Sriman Narayana to protect him from Garuda. Indra took a deep breath and said calmly, Garuda, you can eat all other Nagas. He is the only one I have stopped you from eating. Garuda! A soft voice. Though the voice was soft, Garuda stopped talking immediately. The power of the voice was like that. Mahavishnu spoke again after Garuda stopped talking. Garuda? Mahavishnu said again, Indra is reasonable. He has the right to choose whom to give Amrita and whom not to. He is not depriving you of your natural food, nor is he insulting you. He is just fulfilling the wish of his charioteer. Garuda thought for a moment and realized the truth in Mahavishnu's words. He first bowed to Sriman Narayana, My lord, please tell me what you want me to do. Mahavishnu smiled and told Garuda to protect Sumuka by having him on your shoulders and let him have Amrita. Garuda obeyed immediately. Needless to say, Sumuka got his Amrita and he and Gunakeshi got married and lived happily. After some years, as Garuda used to carry Sumuka at his shoulders, all snakes lost fear with Garuda and started behaving mischievously. Looking at this, Garuda became a little unhappy and shared his concerns with Sriman Narayana. Sriman Narayana told that during my Rama avatar, when Indrajit attacks me with Nagapasa, you can come and relieve me. With that event, all snakes will understand your valor and will not come near you. This is nicely rendered by Tirumangayalvar in one of his beautiful verses. நஞ்சு சோர்வதோர் வெஞ்சின அரவம் வெறுவி வந்து நின் சரண்யனச் சரணாய் நெஞ்சிற்கொண்டு நின் அஞ்சிரைப் பறவைக்கு அடைக்கலம் கொடுத்து அருள் செய்ததறிந்து வெஞ்சொலாளர்கள் நாமந்தமர்க்கடியர் கொடிய செய்வன உளாதற்கடியேன் அஞ்சி வந்து நின் அடியினை அடைந்தேன் அணிபொழில் திருவரங்கத்தம்மானே. That's the context with which Sri Rama and Lakshmana got relief from Nagapasa through Garuda. Thank you all. We will meet with another story in the next few weeks. Stay tuned.